Hey everybody, welcome back to DayZ. I'm Billymac, and I run a couple of servers and a YouTube channel. Obviously, you're watching on YouTube, and I want to walk you through installing the Terje, or a couple of the Terje skills mods that are out there. And there was some controversy where the original modder that wrote Terje got banned from Steam, and I'm not going to go into all that. I'm going to say I'm making this video on February 27, 2026, and I've had the mods installed before, and I'm going to walk you through what to do to install it. I'm doing this for the first time on my systems, so let's get started. So the first thing I think you should do is we're going to open up DayZ and do a couple of things. Pull this over to my monitor here. Go to your mods and just do a search for Terje, Terje, and see if you're subscribed to any current mods. And then go ahead and click on the down arrow or the down caret and then the three lines and open a folder in Windows Explorer and then hit I understand. So this will bring you into the workshop folder where the Terje mods are actually installed in your server. Now go back to your launcher and your mod screen and hit the trash can for any of your mods that say Terje. And do you really want to unsubscribe mod Terje Core and delete its files? And say yes. So that gets it out of your launcher. But let's take a look at this workshop folder, and it is gone from your workshop folder. So that takes care of your DayZ game. Now, if you're a server owner, somewhere on your DayZ server, you're gonna have a DayZ server folder. It might be on Nitrado or your host provider. But now open up your server folder, go into your workshop mods, and look for any Terje mods on your server. And I've already deleted them. I don't see any here, so that's good. And now launch Steam. So go into your Steam workshop. I'm going to do something fresh here. I'm going to exit Steam real quick. And then I'm going to relaunch it. You probably won't have to do that, but I'm suspicious and I want Steam to log in fresh, so it comes up. Ooh, there's a weekend deal. I hit library, I click DayZ, and I go over to workshop. And I'm going to search for Terje, Terje. And the mods that you want to download, I don't want to get into a terminology debate, but I would say the most official mods you want to download are by the modder Streetman. Streatman. I went to the Discord and I just said, hey, there's a few people out there publishing these mods. Which one's the right one? And then they said Streetman and put a link on this page. So we are going to, Terje Core happens to be the one that I just uninstalled, and I'm going to hit subscribe. And then I'm going to back arrow, and I want to do Terje Skills, subscribe, and I'm going to do Terje Medicine, and hit subscribe. And I use VPP admin tools, so I'm also going to do Terje compatibility VPP, and I will subscribe to all of those. And it says down here in the bottom, updating, doing a couple of downloads. So once that's done downloading, you can go back to that original workshop folder for your game. And let's take a look. And you might need to update the folder. So I'm going to do that real quick. Just backing out. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of mods. Okay, still not there. So I'm going to relaunch my DayZ launcher. And it says that it's I'm very particular when I do these installs, especially under this situation. So I just did a search again for Terje, and it says all compatible, or it's all updated, but I'm going to go click the 3 lines and hit repair to make sure that all the files have downloaded properly. Again, you might not have to do this, but I feel like it's better to be safe than sorry, especially when I'm recording a video. So I've got that. So now I'm going to minimize my launcher. I'm going to go over to my, here is my game workshop folder, and now these folders are all there. So I now am going to highlight Terje compatibility VPP, Terje Core, Terje Medicine, and Terje Skills. I'm going to right click copy, and then I am going to hit Control V to paste those into my servers folder. And then they are all, you'll see that they are all there. So next, I'm going to go into I'm going to start with Terje Core because that's the beginning. And I'm going to go into the keys folder. And something I just thought of that I should have done before is I'm going to go into the keys folder of my server. I'm going to do a quick look. The name of this key is Terje.bikey. So I'm going to look in my server folder for Terje, and here's something called Terje Brewigard.bikey. I'm going to delete that. I don't know what that is, but I don't want to take a chance of anything from my old install interfering with my new install. So take your keys, copy, and paste by Control V from your, I call it your game key folder. And now let's look at the other ones to make sure that the key is the same name. The VP compatibility is, the medicine is, and the skills. Yep, just doing a quick check. So you only have to copy one key. Alright, the next thing I do is I take a look at, are there any types files that need to be redone? And so going back here, and I'm going to start again with Terje Core. So when you open up the Terje Core, there is a README. Let's take a look at that. Open it up in Notepad++. I'm going to give it a quick scan. There's a Discord right here, so I think that would be important. And you should take the time to read it. And I don't see anything else in the Terje Core. So now let's take a look at Terje Skills. And there's a folder called Types. So I open up Types, and it is just an XML file. I'm going to open it up in Notepad++ to take a look at it. And it says, it's the books, but you might want to take a look at how things are, how many, and do you want that many items spawning? I'm just going to go with the basic vanilla settings on my server, which is a hardcore Namalsk server. Let's get rid of this. So now you go to your server and go into your MP missions folder, and then look for your hardcore Namalsk. One more item. I'm going to copy this folder, this file over first, but I am going to simply copy and paste that. I'm putting it in the custom folder, and this is called Types, and I am going to rename this Terje Skills Types. You want to rename Types to Terje Skills Types 2. Hold on a second. So I already have a file called Terje Skills Types. I'm simply going to rename this file my original. Now go back here. Terje Skills Types. Alright. Pausing and copying the types folder for a second, because you're going to want to go into your server's config folder. So mine is called config HC Namalsk. And if there is a Terje folder in your config folder, delete it. I've already deleted mine, but if you've had an old version of the mod, you're going to want to take that step. Yeah, I don't want to take any chances that things are going to get corrupted or messed up from the old version of Terje. So, custom folder. Alright, so we looked at Terje Core, we looked at Terje Skills. Now let's take a look at Terje Medicine. And there is a types folder, and there's a couple of types. So there's types, required items. There's a types folder for optional items, types folder for Terje radiation, and Terje skills compatible items. So with what I'm doing, I want to copy my Terje skills items, paste that, and my types required items. So I pasted that into my server folder, and I noticed that I still have my old types file on the server, so I'm just gonna revise those names to call them, whoops, I didn't want to open that file, I just wanted to edit the name. So I'm going to add the words original, so I know what these files are. Don't know why I keep opening the file instead of just renaming the file. Alright, so I think this type name is way too long, so I'm gonna call this Terje skills. And I'm looking over here, what was that called? Terje skills compatible items. You want to rename Terje skills to Terje type skills 2. No, I don't want to, because I don't want to write over anything old. Alright, this is worth taking a look at. So I'm going to open up the Terje skills that I originally looked at that was in the Terje skills folder. And now I'm going to look at the Terje skills types that is in the other folder, which is the Terje medicine folder. This item's working only with Terje skills mods. So I'm going to look at, I'm just going to copy this first item and I'm going to search for it in the other types folder. And it's not there. So these files are not the same. I was concerned that they might be the same. So I still am going to rename this folder or this file and call it Terje medicine types skills compat types. Still a long name, but that's the way I want to do it. And then this is, again, we are on the Terje medicine mod, types required, and so I'm going to rename this Terje medicine required types. Alright, back over to our workshop folders that are in our DayZ game folder. We've done Terje Core, Terje Skills, Terje Medicine. And I'll look at Terje VPP compatibility, and there is no types file. So that moves us back to the server folder, and I am going to what am I going to do? I'm going to open another version of my DayZ server folder, and because what I want to do is I want to be looking at this window, and then I want to go into my MP missions folder, Namalsk, Hardcore Namalsk. Now I want to go into my CFG Economy Core file, and I am going to delete these 3 lines, which are my old Terje entries. And then I know there's a 4th one down here. And how I always do my types files entries is I copy 1 line and then I paste it, and since I'm doing all types folders, but then I go over to my other folder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by date so that I could see today, 2/27, I copied 3 folders over here. So what you need to do over here is I'm going to be putting 3 new files in, so I paste that line 3 times. And then you can go to this folder and just click there and hit copy. Come over into your CFG Economy Core, highlight the name of your that you are replacing, and don't highlight the .xml because you've only copied Terje Skills types. And then go over to your other file, medicine required types is what I called it. Click here. And then your 3rd file, and hit Control V. So now you've copied the mods to your server, copied the key over, you've copied the types files for the mods that you wanted over to your, I put them in the customs folder. You can put it wherever you want, but the customs folder. And then you went into your CFG Economy Core .xml and referred to the 3 file names that you copied over. close this, and yes, we want to save changes. So before we do one more thing, I am going to open up an XML editor. Even though I've made what I consider to be minor changes, I'm going to validate, and I even validate files that I get from someone else, because you never know. So you go to your MP missions folder, then go to your this is my hardcore Namalsk, my custom folder, and I'm going to validate the XML files. I have had it happen where a file I got from a mod, was not validated. And it had a small XML error, and it was causing the mod to not work. So I would rather take the 5 minutes that we're spending and make sure that it is right, as well as I changed the economy core folder on my server, so I'm going to validate that file as well. Alright, all 3 files validated, so we are good there, or 4 files. Now, this is where it might be different for your server, but if you're a server owner, you should know how your mods are called in your startup. I run several servers, not several, but I run a few servers. So I'm going to take my current start.bat file, and I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to edit it. Where your procedure might be different with your servers that you run. I self-host my own servers, and I've got videos on that, of how you do it. So I have to edit a start.bat file. I've hosted with Nitrado in the past, and there was a line in Nitrado's web interface where I called the mods up. So I'm going to go to, in the start.bat file, there is a line that calls all of your mods that are on your server. So just go to where your currently last mod is, hit your semicolon, and what you're going to do is you're going to go back over to your workshop folder, and the first mod that you want to put in is your Terje Core. And what you'll do is just highlight the name, right click, copy, come over here to your notepad, hit Control V for paste, put in a semicolon. The order that I'm putting it in is I'm going to do Terje Core, then I'm going to do Terje Skills, then I'm going to do Terje Medicine. Whoops, I went too far. And I'm right clicking and copying, pasting that. And the last one I'll do is the Terje Compatibility VPP. Copy, paste that. And that is the start.bat file. There's no way to validate a start.bat file that I know of, so you want to make sure you don't make any errors in that. So going to So now you've done all the steps. You copied the mod, you copied the keys, you copied over your types.xml file, you edited your CFG economy core file to call on the types files that you downloaded, and you updated your start.bat file. So I am going to, I got to do this on the actual hardware of my server. And looking, I need to stop my server. And then I need to click on my new bat file. Start hardcore Namalsk. And it will start up. Go back into my launcher. My favorite tab in my folder, of course, has my hardcore Namalsk. My server name happens to be Billymac's Hardcore Namalsk Adventure. Most of my servers are named Billymac's Adventure of some type. And refresh this, Billymac's Hardcore Namalsk Adventure. I'm going to hit join. You will see that now the mods are loading. They're listed. So we're going to hit join. And DayZ, of course, decides to crash. Don't know why that is, but it is what it is. And so, hitting join. I've got a critical step. I'm going to see how this loads. We're going to see how this loads up. Eight seconds seems like a lifetime when you're doing a video waiting for it to load. Oh, I might have a... No. It's coming. You can do it. Okay. So, when I hit my tab key, I see that I have my Terje skills up and running. So, maybe I don't need to do a wipe. That's what I was wondering what the critical step is that I might have missed. So I'm going to exit the server. I'm going to go back and show you guys one more thing. Now that the server has run, you can go back to your DayZ server folder and go into your config folder for your server. So this one is config hardcore Namalsk. And now there will be a Terje settings folder. And normally these are JSON files, but they don't seem to be JSON files. No, you can open them up and review your options, but it says database autosave interval, profile sync interval, and do take a look at those options. because there are some pretty cool configuration options. Um, medicine dot enabled, medical boiling true. So there are lots and lots of options with this mod. I noticed that I had 0 skill level on everything, which that's how I'm going to start my server out. You can start it however you want. But there you go. That is beginning to end how to install your Terje mods for, and like I said, today's date's February 27, 2026. When I recorded this, make sure you delete any references to your old skills files. And that is all for me. If you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe, recommend me to others. I'm trying to grow. And as always, make it a great day and subscribe if you love DayZ.